up, guys? Randy with Ace Tactical. Today we have a stock M&P 2.0 minus the chimney trigger. That is not stock. Everything else in this gun is stock configuration. I will be sending this off to Monsoon Tactical to get his dime bag porting in the future. But for now, I just wanted to do a quick review on the M&P 2.0 because I do think this is actually a really great gun. And if Glocks did not exist, this is probably what I would be running for a duty gun. So we'll go ahead and get our first shots. As always, we were at 7 yards, IPSC NRA B8. And yeah, let's get our first shots. Cool. Yeah, M&P 2.0, this is a 5-inch model, but all the M&P 2.0s I think are great guns. So the M&P 2.0 is probably the striker fired gun of my choice if Glock was not a thing. If I couldn't run a Glock as a duty gun, I would be running M&P 2.0. Let's go ahead and talk about the things I really like about the M&P 2.0. Before we do that, this did once start out as a stock M&P 2.0. Most of pretty much all the footage you'll see is me shooting the stock M&P 2.0 minus I put a chimney trigger in. Now I have this frame. It's been some time since I filmed the actual shooting footage for the M&P 2.0 video. So now this frame does have some work done. On this side, I brought the stippling up higher. The Warrior Solution, he's the guy that stipples all of my guns. You guys will see, I'm going to talk about the Warrior Solution and stippling and stuff like that in another video because I have a lot of Glocks done by him. I'm going to send off my Prodigy to get stippled off by him, and then depending on how that turns out, I'll probably send my Staccato XC to get stippled by him. But we had the stippling brought up higher. Have a little spade right there. Not sure if you can see, but little spade that is the same FDE tone as the M&P 2.0 frame, but it's just a little very subtle where you can kind of see the spade still. And then right here on the opposite side of where the serial number is, you have Ace Tactical with the spade. Very happy with his work. The Warrior Solution does a great job stippling any sort of framework you want done. I did not opt for undercuts this time on this frame. I think I only have undercuts on 2 of my Glock frames done by him. But let's go ahead and talk about the M&P 2.0. All right, guys, we're going to hit a Mozambique. So 2 to the body, 1 to the head. We're here at 3 yards, very close. Mozambique, we're going to run lateral to the left, reload, dump 5 into the steel, reload, and then I have a mag of, I think, like 16, 17. And we're just going to run back a few paces, get planted, take a couple shots on steel, run back a few paces, get planted, take a couple shots on steel. Repeat that until we get about to the 65, 70 yard mark. And yeah, just have some fun with it. All right. And let's go. Huh. Just kidding. Now let's go. All right, guys, the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. This gun has a great track record used by many law enforcement agencies, many just government agencies, not just in the US, around the world, and very reliable, completely understandable why they choose to run this as their primary weapon. I do still like Glock a smidge better. There are just some things I'm not, that I do prefer Glock over the M&P 2.0, but like I said, if Glock wasn't a thing, hands down, I would be going with M&P 2.0. Let's talk about some things I wasn't. My only complaint regarding the frame is I love this texture. This texture actually feels really great. I just wish they would have brought it all the way up to the top of the frame. So this smooth texture right here, I'm not a big fan of. I left this side that my primary hand goes on, I left that side smooth because I don't worry about it too much on that side, but where my support hand sits, I do want that texture to go all the way up to the frame. So that's why I had Jeremy from the Warrior Solution bring that stippling all the way up. You guys will see pretty much all my Glocks. I have that stippling going all the way to the top of the frame. Big fan of that. Me personally, I'm somebody that likes having positive texture up top all the way, because that's where majority of my grip pressure is towards the top of the frame. I also had him do the accelerator cut right here. Those are pretty much the only things I would change about the M&P 2.0 frame. Really don't even need the accelerator cut, it's just nice to have an index point, but the only thing I would change about the M&P 2.0 frame is just having this texture go all the way to the top of the frame. And then that pretty much would be a perfect frame for me for an out-of-the-box gun. Stock trigger. The stock trigger is, I would say, is better than a stock Glock trigger, but it's still, the Timney trigger is beautiful. I love the Timney trigger in the M&P 2.0. Love the Timney trigger in a Glock. So that was just an improvement, in my opinion, over the stock trigger. However, the stock trigger in an M&P 2.0 is still not bad. Still very usable. Very easy to manipulate the gun, even with the stock trigger. So let's talk about the slide. That's another area where I would like some improvement. And actually, if you look at the newer M&P 2.0s, pretty much all my complaints are solved with the newer M&P 2.0. But I don't have the slide on the gun, obviously, as you can see. We did not film this talking portion immediately after the shooting footage, which probably should have done, but busy with life, stuff happens. So I don't have the slide and barrel with me anymore because it's sent off. It's with Monsoon Tactical right now, getting the dime bag porting done. So the 10 ports through the slide and barrel. And then I'm also adding front slide serrations because... Ow! Split my thumb. Well, damn. That's why you need front slide serrations. Or I guess that's why you manipulate the slide from the rear. But I do like to manipulate the slide from the front. I just normally have front slide serrations. So my thumb slipped and then got cut on, I think it was the, I don't know, part of the slide, maybe extractor. I don't know. Whatever. Find something to wipe it up with. Thumb's intact. Yeah, so as you can see, the M&P 2.0, the front slide is slippery. It has no serrations other than right here, which is pretty much worthless. So I typically manipulate the slide from the front. This is, oh god, that slide's really hot too because it's hot outside and we've been shooting a lot. But anyways, that's probably one argument as to why you shouldn't rack the gun from the front of the slide or manipulate the gun from the front of the slide. Understandable. I do it because I do think it is much faster to go from the front than to come all the way back here. So right here, I have a stock Gen 3 Glock 17 slide. And so how the front of the slide is smooth, the M&P 2.0 slide, at least for this variation that I have, the 5-inch model, it's one of their older ones. I think it's not, you'll see in their newer ones, they do have front slide serrations. And that was pretty much my one complaint about this particular M&P 2.0 is that, like a Gen 3 Glock, it does not have front slide serrations. So really manipulating the front of the slide is going to be very difficult just because it is so slippery up here. So manipulations should be done where the slide serrations are, so in the back right here. However, with M&P 2.0, I will say one thing that it does, it kind of tapers off the front, similar to like a Beretta M9 92FS series. It tapers up the front, so you can get a good index with like your thumb if you were to do a press check. However, there were a lot of instances where if I were to go to and manipulate the front of the slide or like to clear malfunction, I would find my hand sliding on that slide and just slipping off because it was so smooth. So I am adding front slide serrations from Monsoon Tactical. And same with this Glock 17. I'm going to be sending this off to Wager Machine Works to get the rear right here cut for a Delta Point Pro. I'm not going to run irons, so I'm just going to have Delta Point Pro, no irons, and then front slide serrations. And then this will be getting a KKM comped barrel setup. But back to the M&P 2.0. Front slide serrations, that's really my only complaint regarding the slide. And the specific model I have is not cut for an optic. So that would be my other complaint, is just modern guns, they should be cut for an optic. However, with the, like I said, those are both issues that have been fixed. If you get a newer M&P 2.0, I see them with front slide serrations. I see them with the optic cut, and I actually see them with a much nicer trigger too. It has that kind of aluminum trigger shoe, and then I don't know what trigger it is. I don't know if it's their performance center trigger or if it's just the trigger that's going to be coming standard in all the M&Ps, but it's a beautiful trigger. It's a that new aluminum trigger. It's a big upgrade over that polymer plastic trigger. Even though that old trigger is still not bad, that new trigger is a big upgrade. I do think the Timney is a step further of an upgrade. However, for the price, I don't know if I would fork out the money to replace that aluminum trigger with the Timney. I'd probably just stick with that aluminum trigger. All right, guys, to wrap up, since to me the Glock 17 is kind of the gold standard for a duty gun, the M&P 2.0 has a very good track record, like I mentioned before. Reliability, pretty much bar none, reliability amazing. It's up there with a Glock, if not even more reliable. I don't know. I would put them on the equal playing field as far as reliability goes. I could see an argument to be made for one being more reliable than the others. I don't have enough, as much rounds as I have through both platforms, I don't have enough rounds to definitively say, yeah, one is more reliable than the other. But I have never seen somebody make complaints about Glock or the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. So those are both great guns. One thing I really like about the M&P 2.0 versus other polymer striker fired guns, very similar to a Glock, that barrel on the frame has a very low bore axis. So what that results in is when you're taking shots, that recoil impulse, that muzzle flip, is going to be less significant than, like, let's say a P320, where that bore axis is a little higher. It's just where that recoil happening is going to be higher, so you're going to have more muzzle flip. Other than that, those are pretty much what makes, in my opinion, the M&P 2.0 a great gun. You have low bore axis, you have a great reliable gun, ergonomics are great. One last thing actually that I would change if I could is just getting this slide release a little just out of the way. I don't know how you do it, but this slide release, sometimes I find myself pinning down the slide. So I do not get slide lock with the magazine, just because the way my grip is, it's high on the frame. On my Glocks, I run the Cogwork slide release, so it really gets that slide release up and out of the way. So that would be the only thing I would change, but that's gonna be an issue with most of the guns I shoot. It's just the way I grip it, interfering with that slide lock, slide release. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. In the comments below, let me know what you think, what you guys run as your preferred duty gun. I'll probably do a video on my top 3 or top 5 duty guns. I didn't mention like the Staccato P because it's steel frame gun. But if I were to run any gun as a duty gun, it would be Staccato P first. And then after that, probably one of the Glock variant, either Glock 17, 45, or 34, and then M&P 2.0. But that'll be a video for another time. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks for checking it out. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.